And now to the latest on the Fort Hood massacre. Church services are being held later today in Texas to honor the victims of the shooting. At least 17 people remain hospitalized. 9 of them are in intensive care. The suspect, Major Nidal Hassan, is now breathing on his own without a ventilator. Officials, however, are not saying if he is talking to investigators. And as of this point, there's still no clear motive for the attack. A news conference is scheduled for 10 o'clock our time this morning, and also on Tuesday, President Obama and the First Lady will be attending a service in Texas for the Fort Hood victims. And this is something else we have learned. There is no evidence of friendly fire during this week's deadly shooting at the Fort Hood Army post in Texas. An Army official says authorities don't believe that any of those killed or wounded were shot by anyone other than the suspect, Major Nidal Hassan. Ted Rowland says more on the man accused of opening fire on his fellow soldiers.
Investigators say clues as to why 39-year-old Army psychiatrist Nidal Hassan allegedly went on a shooting rampage are still being gathered. 170 witnesses and victims have been interviewed so far. Although they believe he was the only shooter, they won't rule out that Hassan may have had help.
All evidence at this point indicates the suspect allegedly acted alone in the actual shootings at the Readiness Center on 5 November.
Key to the investigation may be Hassan's computer. At 2:37 Thursday morning, 11 hours before the massacre, Hassan called his next-door neighbor, Willie Bell, and left a message asking him to turn on his wireless computer connection. Bell ignored the call, but 3 hours later, he says Hassan called back.
They said, would you please hook up your laptop? And I said, wow. He wanted me to hook up the laptop, so my girlfriend got up and hooked up the laptop. But we didn't answer the phone, he just left a message.
Bell also says 2 weeks before the massacre, Hassan locked Bell out of his own wireless connection by changing passwords.
For the last 2 weeks, I couldn't even get on the internet myself because I had to go through some kind of code he had dialed in there. And I don't know what he dialed in there, but I couldn't get on it.
Bell says he surrendered his own computer to investigators. He says he was also questioned for 4 hours. Investigators won't comment on whether they've located all of the computers Hassan used. He gave away these computer cases and the rest of his furniture to another neighbor, Patricia Villa. But the only thing inside the computer bags, Villa says, were a few of Hassan's business cards. At 6:30 a.m. the morning of the shooting, Hassan was seen on the surveillance video at a 7-Eleven buying coffee and hash browns. Later, he was back at the apartment complex. This man, Miguel Rivera, says he saw Hassan throwing things into this dumpster. Investigators hauled the dumpster away Friday morning. Another potential source of information may be a man that neighbors saw visiting Hassan the day before the rampage. Alice Thompson was inside her apartment when she says she saw Hassan and the other man. Unusual, she says, because he never seemed to have anyone over. She described the other man as wearing Muslim attire with dark skin and bushy eyebrows and claims investigators seemed interested in him when she was questioned.
If you see him again, can you identify him? I said, yes.
Answers could also, of course, come from Hassan himself. He remains in critical condition at an Army hospital in San Antonio. Ted Rowland, CNN, Fort Hood.